Music Radar Online has announced John Taylor from Duran Duran is their number one bass player in a fan vote. Very exciting news. Whatever Music Radar is, I think it's it's obviously a website, but it's some kind of might have been, used to be a magazine. A lot of these magazines don't actually print anymore, but I've heard of it before. But they have a poll, I guess, every year, like some kind of music poll about people's favorite, whatever. And JT, number one. Not a surprise here. JT has been my favorite bass player since as long as I can remember, really. The stuff he does on the Arena album, especially the live version of New Religion, pretty awesome stuff. His bass lines aren't overly busy, but they're interesting enough to stand out. And they drive a lot of the songs, especially on the earlier material. And I thought this would be a good time to tell my John Taylor story. When I got a chance to meet him in 1996, I went to see Neurotic Outsiders, which is a band he was in with Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols, Matt Sorum on drums from Guns N' Roses, and Duff McKagan on guitar and vocals from Guns N' Roses. So it was those four dudes. They had signed a record deal with Madonna's label at the time, Maverick. They subsequently put out a fucking great album, and I'd like to talk about that sometime. That album it's a 90s classic, and it's so good, and it went so under the radar. A friend of mine's band used to cover a song called Good News from that album. Really good. But anyway, they were playing in town with their band Neurotic Outsiders, and what they did is, at the time, Billy Idol was singing for them. They had a couple different singers that they kind of tried out, but they ended up just going with the four-piece when it was time to record the album. The band kind of started as a jam night sort of situation in LA, and from there it just evolved into a band. John was still in Duran at the time, but he would be leaving soon after this while recording the Medazzaland album. So my friend is an autograph collector, and he wants to get Duff and Matt from Guns on some stuff. He'd met them before and had them sign some stuff, but he's like one of those collector guys that was like really obsessive, and he had to have everyone on everything. So we got down there in the afternoon to the gig. They were playing at a place called Mama Kin, which was a club owned and operated by the guys in Aerosmith. It was like a hard rock cafe type of place, just with all Aerosmith memorabilia. It was pretty cool, but expensive drinks. Everything in there was kind of pricey. But they'd have good shows there, rock shows. It didn't last too long. I think ultimately it was probably some kind of tax write-off. But we get down there to the venue, and it's right in the Fenway, right across from Fenway Park, Lansdowne Street, which is home to a lot of clubs that a lot of bands play. I've played there a lot in the day at different venues. So I get there to Mama Kin, and my friend I was with, I think I was with a couple guys, but I was meeting one of my friends that worked there too. And I'm just milling around, and my friend goes over to talk to Matt and Duff and get them to sign things. Matt Duff and Steve Jones were just hanging out with some of the crew. This is hours like before the doors open even, but and my friend knew somebody, and I knew someone that worked there, and we got in. We were getting in anyway. I never played Mama Can. At the time, when it was happening, I wasn't in a band, which is kind of rare. So I never got to play there. So that has nothing to do with anything. So we show up, and he goes and starts talking to them. So I have my Rio CD insert. I just wanted him to sign that. So I'm walking in and out of the club, just kind of milling around, seeing who's around. So it had been a little bit, and I noticed that, well, I didn't notice, I hadn't seen John yet. So I'm walking into the club, and I kind of picked up that there was a guy behind me walking, but I just thought it was, I don't know. I knew someone was behind me, but I didn't think much of it. So I go over to where the bathrooms are, and my friend's going up the stairs to the bathroom, and I yell up to him like, "Hey, have you seen John Taylor?" And he's like, "He's right behind you." And I was walking as he said this, and as I said this, I kind of stopped abruptly and turned around, and he almost walked into me. John Taylor. Did not look like John Taylor because he had glasses on. John needs glasses for most of the time you see him with Duran, though he's got contact lenses on. So for whatever reason, he had glasses on, and he was very tall, and he just didn't, he struck me as like a dad coming to pick up his kid after school. He had like that kind of look going on. I don't know if I would have noticed it was him unless it was pointed out to me. So my friend goes to the bathroom, and I'm down there with John, and I'm like, "Hey, could you sign this for me?" And I take it out, and he's like, "Yeah, no problem. Really cool, really nice guy." I said a couple things, so I might forget. So I got him to sign the Rio CD, and then I'm waiting for my friend to come out of the bathroom at the end of this hall, and he was also waiting for someone. So he signs my thing, and then I turn to lean against the wall, and he leans against the wall beside me. And we're just kind of sitting there silently, each staring off in the direction of the bathrooms. And in my mind, I'm like, fucking say something to him. Just talk to him. I'm like, yeah, but I already have him signed. I don't know what to say. But I'm going through my head, thinking about different things I could ask him that would be cool. Like anytime I meet like musicians I always try to have some kind of cool question or some kind of obscure thing to talk about with them to prove I'm like a fan. So I'm like, yeah, ask him about something about, the new religion bass line or something. And I'm like, in my head. So finally I'm like, just turn your head, look at him, and start talking. So I turn my head, I looked at him, he looks over at me, and I said, "Thanks, John." And I turned and started to walk away, and he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, anytime." So now I'm walking out of the venue, and I'm supposed to be waiting for my friend, but I just totally, awkwardly acted like an idiot, because I didn't know what to say. So now I'm committed to walking out of the club. So I just fucking walked out of the club. And I was like halfway to the parking garage. I'm like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be in there, But so I walked back over there, and I kind of waited a little while because I didn't want to walk back in because, it would be double awkward. And eventually I did go in, but it was just kind of funny. That's all I could come up with. "Thanks, John." Turn around and start leaving. Idiot. The best arrival that night, a bunch of celebrity type people came out there to see them. It was Dan Aykroyd was there, a couple other minor people, some of the guys from Aerosmith. And the best arrival was Billy Idol, who was singing that night. It was later in the night. They hadn't gone on yet. It was getting close to the time now. And a cab pulled up, just like a yellow taxi cab. And out pops Billy Idol. And me and my friend are out there. I think we were smoking probably. I'm like, hey, Billy, what's up? And he turns and looks at us. He puts his fist in the air and he goes, rock and roll! It was the fucking best. Oh, and then he runs into the club. Unbelievable. So I go in to see the show, and they were great. They opened with Planet Earth, with John singing it. And they played a mix of like punk covers, some Guns N' Roses stuff, some Sex Pistols stuff. The only Duran Duran song they played though was Planet Earth, which opened the set. So my friend who I'm with, the autograph collecting guy, he's hardcore, he's right up front, you know, having a good time. And I'm with one of my buddies at the back of the club by the door because it was hot in there and the door was open facing Lansdowne Street, you know, got some air standing there by the back door. And this guy walks in with this frizzy perm, long, blonde frizzy perm. And my friend's like, this guy here, he thinks he's Robert Plant. And we're like, yeah, fucking look at this guy. There's Robert Plant here. So he walks over, not too far from us, and just standing close to us looking at the stage. Then in the door walks Jimmy Page. And then it clicked. It's like, oh shit, that is Robert Plant. So Page walks over, starts talking to Robert Plant. They're just standing there talking, and I don't know what to say to guys unless I'm prepared to meet someone, I usually don't even bother because what are you gonna say? You're awesome. Remember when you made presents? Remember that? You end up like in a Chris Farley situation. So they're talking. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if my friend has their autographs or anything. Probably doesn't have any Zeppelin stuff on them. But what had happened is they were doing the Plant and Page tour, and they were playing at the Boston Garden that night. So they popped by. So I'm kind of debating if I should wade my way through the crowd to get my friend to tell him, hey, Plant and Page are back here. Do you want to get in the sign anything? I mean, this is 96. No one had cameras, phone cameras. So as I'm standing there thinking if I should do something, in walks Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. And they walk up to Page and Plant. And then they form like a circle, like kids waiting for the bus to go to school, you know. Plant, Page, Tyler, and Perry, all in a circle talking to each other. No one notices they're there because everybody's watching the band. So at this point, I'm like, I gotta go get him, you know, or he'd be upset. So I got my way through the crowd, and I don't know how I could probably yank the back of his shirt or something and tell him, come on, come on, come on. And I think he thought I wanted to leave or there was something happening outside. And at first he's like, no, we're watching the show. And then I got him back there, and he got their autographs on something that he had. But someone had said, if they dropped a bomb on this building tonight, rock and roll would be over. I thought that was kind of true. I mean, you got the Sex Pistols, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, some of the cast of the original Saturday Night Live for some reason. But yeah, JT was wicked cool. I know I had a little bit of a conversation with him, but I don't remember what it was about. But when we were both standing there, leaning against the wall, staring at the bathroom door, it might have been less than 10 seconds, but it felt like a fucking eternity. It was just so awkward, because he'd already signed my shit. I'd already had my little chat with him or whatever. And now we're both waiting for people. It was just weird. It was one of those things that, most goofy things. But it was cool to meet him. I never met any of the other guys. But, I mean, Duran didn't really come through too many times in my area. I saw them on the Dilate Your Mind tour in '94. I think they came around for that. The album, Whiting album was out in '93, but I'm not sure if they... No, it was '93. '93 they came out. Remember they closed with White Lines, which went over huge. And it probably inspired them to make it the lead single of their next album, which that wasn't a good move, really. I liked it, but, I mean, you know, that's another story for another time.